Alright, so in this one, I'm going to be talking about a few interesting stories from the One Punch Man audiobooks, and these are all canon because they were all written by one, so you don't have to worry about that. But it doesn't really matter because they don't really tie specifically into the storyline or anything. It's just kind of little side, fun, interesting things that have happened in the world of One Punch Man. And this particular one that I'm starting off with is going to talk about, like, the first time that Saitama and Amai Mask have met, because they haven't really met yet in the manga or the anime. It's also giving us some insight into, like, a deeper look at both of these characters as well. Like I said, it's super interesting, so let's get into it. So sometime before Saitama had met Genos and he was still training on his way to remove his limiter, he was staying at some random place close to this concert that Amai Mask was having, and he was also doing some part-time construction work there. And Saitama says he doesn't know exactly what he's working on, but we could just assume that he's actually working on, like, the dome that the concert that Amai Mask is having here. And this is giving us some insight into Saitama's past, like before the story happens, because we rarely ever get this. And basically, the only thing that we really knew about Saitama's work history was from an interview that one gave us, where he said Saitama was, like, working at a convenience store, I mean, for the most part. And then we also saw that he was job hunting when he met Krablante. So this is cool. You know, any little more details that we get about Saitama is fascinating to me. And on that day, he had eaten an expired bento for lunch, and it just, like, nuked his stomach, and he was on the verge of defecating himself. So he ran to where the closest bathroom was. Now, coincidentally, at the same time, Amai Mask was locked inside of the toilet stall in that bathroom because he's having, like, this internal crisis, because apparently before every concert that he has or every show or whatever, he has to, like, go away from everyone and kind of, like, lock himself inside the bathroom and give himself, like, this mental pep talk. And this is super interesting because we didn't really know this about Amai Mask before this. He always has, like, this big, tough exterior. You know, he's ultra confident, super braggadocious. But now we're seeing that, like, there's more to him than what meets the eye. And we always kind of knew that there was a lot more to Amai Mask beneath the surface, since he's, like, a very complex character. But it's just given that we don't get too much of him within the story. It's so many, like, little bits of info that come out of him through the data books and now this audiobook. And he's specifically locked in the bathroom this time because he can't figure out the title of his new song. Like, he's basically waiting until the very last minute to release it. And he's just struggling thinking about it. But at the same time, Saitama is about to, you know, go in his pants, and he's at the bathroom, and he's knocking on the door. And Saitama's like, "Hey, are you done in there?" And my man's like, "I'm sorry, but I'm really concentrating hard on this right now. Can you please not talk to me?" He's like, "It's been bothering me since last night. I couldn't even sleep because of this." And Saitama's like, "Since last night?" He's like, "Yeah, I've been concentrating on this, but nothing good came out." So the whole big joke here is that Saitama thinks that Amai Mask is, like, trying to take a poop here in the bathroom. But, you know, being the oblivious person that Saitama is, he doesn't even know that this is even Amai Mask that he's talking to here. So they keep going back and forth, and they keep saying these funny things as to keep making Saitama think that Amai Mask is, like, really super serious about this poop that he's trying to have. But eventually it gets to the point of Saitama encouraging Amai Mask enough to figure out how to come out with the title for this song. And he essentially just says, sometimes you just need to let it go. Just relax and forget about all your problems, and it'll just come out. And Amai Mask is like, "Oh, that's it. You can't do anything about it, even if you worry about it." "That's correct. Just empty out myself." And then Saitama leaves after that because, you know, he can't wait any longer and he needs to empty himself out. And then Amai Mask comes out of the bathroom stall and he's like, "Thank you so much. By the way, you never told me your name." "Oh," and then he notices that he's not there. He's like, "Oh, what a good Samaritan. Thank you again, unknown staff member." And then later on, like, Amai Mask goes on stage and he's like, "Thank you. Let's get on with the next song. Listen up. My new title is Beautiful Hero." So, yeah, pretty cliche name for, like, something that Amai Mask would have. But, like, I don't know how he came up with Beautiful Hero after that whole little back and forth that he had with Saitama, but we can kind of assume here that this song, of course, was inspired by Saitama unknowingly, and they had both met each other at the same time unknowingly as well. So that was interesting and funny too. Just pretty good writing from one, which is typical of him. So this next story is a little more abstract than the one we just went over, and I don't even have like the complete story. I kind of just have this one excerpt from it because it was so hard to get, as well as just the translation for it. So shout out to my thumbnail artist, Quiet Hiss. Please check out her Instagram. She hooked me up with this. But this is going to be detailing the rare instance where Drive Knight kind of fought Genos. So this is like taking place in an alternate reality or something like that, and I suppose the S-Class are depicted as being high school students in this scenario, and they're in this sports festival. And in this festival, they're like taking part in this relay race. So the teams that I know for sure is Genos and Sonic, and then Drive Knight and Flashy Flash. There could be more or whatever. I'm just not sure about the rest of the details here. But in this relay race, Drive Knight just straight up says screw the rules, and he starts like actually fighting Genos to get like the baton, and he shoots missiles at Genos. And this is something that we weren't even aware of until recently. Like in chapter 118, when he was fighting against Neon, we saw that the missiles came out of his the bike mode that he was in. So does that mean that he might have been in like the bike mode in this relay race? As far as I know, it's not made too clear, but still, these missiles are so powerful that they completely wreck Genos. Like, he's just blown apart by this. Now, I'm not exactly sure what version of Genos this is. It could be EC, it could be G4. It's definitely not Daedric Genos, but still, I think this is giving us some insight into how powerful Drive Knight is and what would happen maybe if he were to fight Genos, at least before the Daedric version of him. Now, of course, we probably shouldn't be taking this too seriously because it's like an alternate reality thing and they're just having like a relay race for fun, but this was written by one, and it might be him telling us that, like, if they were to fight, Drive Knight would probably wreck Genos, or at least at that point, like I said, and definitely with his missiles, wherever they came out of. Maybe he could just straight up shoot missiles out of his body without having to go into a tactical transformation. But anyway, after he, like, blows Genos apart, he feels that he has, like, the upper hand, but then Genos uses, like, his rocket punch, you know how he can extend his arm out with that rope wire thing? And he sends the baton that way to Sonic. And he passes it off, and Sonic's like, not bad for Saitama's errand boy. I will carry it on. Goes, you know, faster in the race, and then Drive Knight's like, oh, I'm sorry, Flashy Flash. And then Flashy Flash like, leave it to me, I'll overtake him. So then, like, Flashy starts racing Sonic. And I don't know the result of this, but there's just a fun little thing that I wanted to talk about because it is an instance where Drive Knight technically fought Genos. And the last story that I want to talk about is the time that Silver Fang fought Metal Bat. So Silver Fang convinces Sitch from the Hero Association to like have a few S-Class heroes come to his dojo for like essentially like a martial arts seminar. I'm sure if you're familiar with them in real life, on the Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist. He basically wants to like convert some of them over to join his dojo because he's like severely lacking in students. And the S-Class heroes that come over are Metal Bat, Tank Top Master and his crew, and then surprisingly Watchdog Man, and we'll get into that. But Sitch specifically wanted Metal Bat to come over because he felt that like he was wasting his potential because he was like aimlessly swinging his bat like a brawler, and he thought that, you know, the Water Street would help him with that. And when he gets there, Metal Bat's like, hey, you know what? If you think I'm lacking in skill, I'll beat Silver Fang right here to prove to you that I don't need any help. And then Silver Fang's like all about it. And then they start to spar. And it goes how you would expect it to. Like, it's basically the same fight that Metal Bat had against Garo, except I'm sure that Bang was more impressive in this display. Like, Metal Bat doesn't hit him once. He just deflects everything and basically makes Metal Bat look like a fool. And he's like, he's talking crap to Metal Bat. He's like, where's your aim? And then Metal Bat's like, running is the same as losing. Like, because he's not really attacking me, kind of just defending him. But he does deflect, like, one of his strikes from the bat, and it's so powerful that it, like, blows out one of the walls in his dojo. And Watchdog Man, he doesn't really do anything. He just takes a nap the whole time he's there. And the wall being blown out of the dojo, like, wakes him up, and he's just gonna leave after that. And Sitch is like, you know, why are you leaving? You didn't even do anything. And then he says that walks have time limits. So I guess he only came here because this was considered a walk from him, because like sometimes he does leave Q City, I guess, but not for very long. And that's pretty much the only thing that Watchdog Man does in this story. And Tank Top Master doesn't really do anything while he's there either. He kind of just is there for comedic support with crew, and he's just delusional as ever. He even thinks that, like, Bang is wearing a tank top underneath his shirt, which allows him to move as well as he does. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Let me know what you thought about these stories. I thought this would be a fun little interesting video. You know, instead of just having a video devoted to just each of these stories, I just throw them all together. And if you liked it, please give it a like. I also have a Patreon. It gives you access to a weekly Q&A. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next